This is an article from CNN Money. There's a video here discussing how breweries and Coca-Cola want to invest money into marijuana-infused drinks. So I'm going to play the video and come back with my commentary.
Constellation Brands, that's the brewer of Corona beer, is to invest $4 billion in marijuana through Canada's Canopy Growth. And there you see the reaction. Constellation down 7.5%. Well, that could just be on the back of the falling market. But Canopy Growth up 26% on the news, which is why we jump into the money pit with the Canopy Growth Chief Executive, Bruce Linton. So, that's an extremely robust reaction from the market. What does the Constellation investment give you?
Well, I think, this is the cannabis sector, and it's becoming a topic, but frankly, it gives us more credibility. We'd already had a working relationship with Canopy, with Constellation. We've been, an invested company from them since October 2017, and we've been working on projects, but this says Constellation gets it, that this is happening globally very quickly. We're talking in the UK, right? If you and I talked in January and I said, I think the UK is actually going to put cannabis regulation on their agenda, you would have thought I'd lost it. But the whole world is turning, and Canopy is the number one company in the sector, and we're in 11 countries right now.
So, Bruce, the sale of cannabis restricted to medical use and therapeutic use versus the recreational use that has now been introduced in various US states. Now, at the moment, you're predominantly or mainly on the medical side or the therapeutic side, but you want to move towards the recreational side because that is really where arguably the big money will be in the future.
Yeah, so I'm based in Canada, and we run in 11 countries, but we don't operate in the U.S. because it's federally illegal. And it looks like it's not because California places do, but it is federally illegal. So what Canada is doing is October 17th, they're going to allow anybody over the age of 19 who wishes to buy cannabis to go into a store online, and they can buy it from the state government, the provincial government. That will be a big increase in our market. Right now there are about 350,000 medical patients in Canada. We have about 85,000 of them, so we're good market share. But we have 35 million people in Canada, and because the media has saturated this topic, it'll be a big step up. And it's kind of like our experiment. Canada allows us to create formulations from plants, so we can think about running clinical trials, which we've registered for both humans and animals. We can use those same plants and extractions to think about how do we create beverages that have no calories, that instead of sponsoring a depression or getting quiet, they might make you feel a little bit more upbeat. And we can look at how do we do things at scale in a country with 35 million people and go to Germany or anywhere else that's big.
And on the recreational front, if we take a look at Constellation, obviously Corona, they have an interest in the medical and medicinal and therapeutic side. But you put that sort of money in because eventually you hope to be able to sell cannabis to partygoers.
Yeah, and as what happens is you grow a plant, you extract the materials from the plant, and then you decide what's going to happen. And am I going to make a beverage, or am I going to make a really focused pharmaceutical? If we do this really well, why aren't those two companies, and why in 3 or 4 years isn't one being spun out? And the other is this phenomenal platform for making recreational products. And all of a sudden what they've created is a global leader from which we may end up finding that there's a big pharma partner that wants to come down the road to us. So I think they've been very early and smart. Some people would say, is it a hedge against what could disrupt alcohol? I think it's the way to win for the next thing. It's kind of a bit more like back in the day when Apple would unveil a product and Mr. Jobs would say, and there's more. Well, I think Constellation can now do that, and that they're going to benefit materially from it because most of the other alcohol beverage guys still have a committee trying to figure out whether or not they should do it. And we expect to be so far down the path that there'll be no question who's number one. The others can fight for later.
Okay, so I'm going to just... and stop that. Okay, so what they were talking about is the guy, the company over Corona Constellation, have Corona, which makes Modelo beer. They want to invest, or they have invested $4 billion into a marijuana company. And what he was saying specifically at the end is what caught my eye, because they do a lot of talking about this. They have done a lot of talking about this. CNN Money, Market Watch, Dow Jones Industrial, Wall Street Journal, and so forth. But in the medical journals, they've also done a lot of research. And so he was saying, like, you have a company that makes a beverage for recreational use. You have a company that makes drugs for pharmaceutical use or homeopathic, naturopathic, allopathic uses. You can incorporate some of the extracts from the plant, the marijuana plant, to conduct clinical trials for patients with pain, chronic nerve disorder, things like that. But they want to be far down the line, and so that there's no competition from other companies, not only alcohol and beer companies, but energy drinks, because you have companies like Red Bull. We used to have that drink called Surge. It went out due to deleterious research that was done on Surge. Some of the additives and preservatives in Surge caused a lot of issues: kidney failure, liver function failure, heart disease in mice. So they stopped using that. They took it off the market. Then they turned around. I think that company was sold to the company that runs Red Bull, and you had Red Bull. Pretty much the same thing, just slightly different. I think it has a little less guarana. Guarana being one of the main extracts from a plant that gives you a lot of energy, very close to caffeine. So Coca-Cola in this article could make a move into the cannabis-infused drinks. They want to start off slow, because if they start off at the level of Corona or Modelo beer, it may be too much for the public to take. Even though they've invested money there, they'll probably start off with just doing the research. But with Coca-Cola, you can go directly to the consumer, because it's already a drink that is very popular around the world. Everyone around the world pretty much recognizes Coca-Cola brand logo faster than airline logos or country flags. So even if you change the word Coca-Cola into a different language, people can still recognize that that's Coca-Cola. And so due to that powerful propaganda that's been pushed since, like, the 40s or 50s, you can see that it would be, natural for Coca-Cola to want to put cannabis into their products. So Coca-Cola is considering a move into the growing market for cannabis-infused drinks. They have cannabis-infused edibles, and these are drugs that are, or I shouldn't say drugs, chemicals that are infused into foods that you can consume, drinks, brownies, cookies, juices, whatever you want. It contains CBD or cannabinoid, but it does not contain THC. THC is the chemical that would induce psychoactive effects in your brain, but CBD is for pain relief. CBD would make you feel better. CBD would give you a little bit more energy. So it's non-psychoactive component in marijuana, and it's an ingredient in what it called functional wellness beverages. Yeah, I don't know what that really means. Functional wellness is the same topic they use to describe cocaine. Okay, so I wouldn't really use the same terminology to describe a product that contains marijuana, but let's move forward. The space is evolving quickly, Coke said. So that's coming from the Coke company. No questions have been made at this time. It still does not pass me that Coca-Cola used to put cocaine in their product, allegedly. So for them to switch to marijuana now is kind of ironic. CBD, which does not produce a high for the user, has been used for medical purposes, including ease of inflammation, pain, and nausea. So this may be used for cancer patients. Coke's interest was first reported by Bloomberg, which said the company was in talks with Aurora Cannabis, a Canadian cannabis company, Aurora has also expressed interest in cannabis drinks. Neither would comment on a possible deal. Someone says, there is so much happening in this area right now. We think it has incredible potential, said Aurora spokesperson Heather McGregor. Stories like this are further validation of the massive global potential of the cannabis industry. And that's the end of the article. I've given my thoughts about it. You all let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll leave a link in the description box. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. If you have articles you want me to discuss, email me. I'll leave my email in the description box as well. NicoleAli864@yahoo.com. It's Nicole, NicoleAli 864@yahoo.com, just in case I forget to leave it. So you can send me articles if you want, and I'll talk to you in the next one. You guys have a great day.